Thank you, everybody, for being here. Welcome to the Cali Current Podcast. Your host, Ish, and Grimace.
Hey everybody, it's good to see you guys back. Welcome back to the Cali Current Podcast. Nice to see you all back and tuning in to
Another episode 3. Thank you very much for being here. We do appreciate the likes, the subscribing, and also the comments. We welcome all comments. But today we're going to talk about something that is basically near and dear to everybody. And also, just so you understand, we want to just offer that this is just opinion based, and we do offer our opinion because it is for entertainment value and for purposes of entertainment only. Okay, so please, nobody take this wrongly, and we're going to start talking about things that everybody possibly can relate to, of course. And what's the first thing that we're going to talk about today?
well, with the holidays coming up and we got Thanksgiving going on. So how are you doing at the Black Friday shopping or the holiday shopping, I should say?
You know what? I don't have a list prepared, but if you're asking me, to be quite honest with you, I never plan. I never plan whatsoever because I know Black Friday is coming around and also Cyber Monday, which is also, a few days after Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
But I think for the most part, I don't prepare, but I think I'm going to be prepared regardless.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't know about like preparing. You mean like preparing for like having a list as far as who you're getting a gift for? You mean like preparing as far as like investigating which stores, which retailers have the
prepare online shopping, because that's the extent of my shopping. I try not to go into a brick and mortar store anymore. I mean, who does anymore? Like, exactly, who goes to the malls anymore? I mean, we were just at a mall earlier because
we were just at the mall. Yeah,
we want to have dinner, and Macy's was right there. I'm like, let's go to Macy's. I wasn't gonna buy anything, but something lured me into the men's fragrances section, and I didn't expect to purchase anything, but that's how they get you.
Yeah, I mean, they had some good deals, Black Friday specials everywhere. We're just at the department store, Macy's.
Correct.
I mean, yeah, some of those things did look enticing, but like you were telling me a lot, like, what was it, the final cut? Was it the last call?
Oh, yeah. At Macy's, they have the clearance section. It's called Last Act.
Last Act.
If anybody's ever walked into a Macy's lately or at all, I mean, I don't think they have that online, but they do have clearance items online. But at the actual brick and mortar Macy's that I'm used to, any Macy's whatsoever, they have the Last Act. And I'm frugal like that. I like to save a little bit while I'm shopping.
Yeah, because I mean, I like getting me stuff at Macy's, Nordstrom too, But I mean, a lot of time that's like retail, right? What's a retail
Full
department
retail
store?
manufacturers. It's the MSRP, like always. Everything has MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price.
Because see, I like to when I get clothes. I picked up some like really nice clothes, like the one I think that had like a Ice Cube shirt. And
okay.
I saw that
the one that you wear on the last podcast.
Oh, that was a Snoop Dogg shirt.
Okay, whatever. Never mind. I got them mixed up. Sorry.
No, yeah, there's an Ice Cube shirt, and that one, I picked that one up at Ross. I think it was like $7-8, and I was like, damn,
because
and that's like a rapper shirt, like top West Coast rapper shirt too.
Well, people, I guess I worked in the retail business a long time ago. I mean, it's been a few decades already, almost. When I started, I started working at a Bloomingdale's, and. But I have experience in Macy's too. I was a merchandiser.
Bloomingdale's is like a Macy's?
No. Bloomingdale's is one step up of a Macy's.
Oh.
Because they came from New York in the early thousands when they started building a lot of stores back then. They were only in New York from New York. That's the main one, main hub, the original store that I guess started in the early 20s, I would assume.
So Bloomingdale's. So it's also a department store. It's not like a...
Correct. It's a department store, but now they branched out to franchises all across Southern California. And I think other states, but honestly, I haven't seen them more outside of California than New York. But it's a step above Macy's, but it's a step below Neiman Marcus and the high-priced... what's the other one? No. I'm getting that wrong.
Oh, Saks and Fifth?
Saks Fifth Avenue? Is that what it's called now?
Something
I think it
like
probably
that.
changed. But... there's like way expensive stores than Bloomingdale's. Bloomingdale's is still decently priced, but it's just like a Macy's. But Macy's, since they're also closing down a lot of brick and mortar stores, people are doing online shopping more than ever. I think we rely on it more than anything that we've ever done in terms of just getting things done, because everybody wants everything delivered. Nobody really cares for going and walking into stores anymore. because it depends, I guess, how you grew up. But I would assume people still go to the malls just to hang out.
Yeah. I mean, I got some cousins. One in particular, yeah, he's always likes going to the mall, and I'm like, hey, why? What is it that you're always doing at the mall? He's not shopping, I don't know. He doesn't have.
Is he young? I would assume he's a young person, right?
Yeah, he's young. He's about like 19 years old, and he doesn't have no part-time job or anything like that. So, he's not spending exuberant amounts of money on shopping, but I think he just likes to go hang out because he told me that he'll go to the block of Orange, or the outlets now they call it.
It's a young person thing, I would assume.
Yeah, so the mall is kind of a young person thing, or just hanging out. But also it's also good like going in person. Like I was telling you, I like to go to like the Ross. They have good deals, but you won't see those kind of good prices online, really.
No. Okay, well, sorry. I didn't really get into it because I sort of started talking about it, but I totally forgot that I was going to mention this.
Yeah.
Because I know how the retail business sort of works. Because when I used to be a merchandiser for Bloomingdale's and this and that and the other, the thing is, all the stores that get their products, they have a buyer that just makes purchases from different brands. Of course, they decide what brands are going to go into their stores. They have to make an agreements, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of things that I don't know about, but I know for certain that once they get the merchandise brand new, they have to sell it at MSRP, which is $100 just to say for a T-shirt. A certain T-shirt brand, Polo Ralph Lauren. There's all these brands. Everybody knows Yves Saint Laurent. All the main brands, major brands, Tommy Hilfiger. American made or not, or outside of the American scope, there's other brands like Yves Saint Laurent, like that's French. But my point is, once they sell that, of course, they're going to mark down the amounts in the stores, within the stores, and then when they get to clearance, they don't sell anymore. They go to stores like Ross, to Marshalls, to the retailers that are gonna just basically also mark it down significantly, and then that's why you bought a $7 T-shirt. But I'm sure that T-shirt probably cost $60 brand new when they first sold it at whatever retailer store chain.
So it's like basically at the retail stores. You get first dibs on it.
Correct.
And then if no one's purchasing it, then it makes it to the clearance or the
Correct.
final cut
Correct.
department section. And then from there, then you have a merchandiser from those
Correct.
other stores come
Correct.
and buy all the clothes. 'Cause
Yes.
I saw those racks. I didn't know about that
In
until
bulk.
you showed me
In
that.
bulk.
I saw those racks, and then, I saw the final cut. Like, I was
Correct.
like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Last act.
But yeah, a lot of them were like odd sizes. Some of the styles were
Double XL.
so like I wasn't like. Some of the styles were kind of cool. Some of them I wouldn't really rock those styles.
No, but the clothing was a little bright that we saw on the racks
a lot
today.
of them was bright clothing.
So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it's the fashion is going towards that trend, because I never really saw those bright pastels mostly actually. But the point is, we're going to talk about next, and we were just making sure that if you guys are ready for your holiday shopping or not. Of course, Thanksgiving's coming around the corner, Black Friday deals, Cyber Monday deals. However you do your shopping, whether you do it online or in person, we have to get there. If you don't have a vehicle to get there, of course, there's ways that people travel. Mm-hmm. And our next basically a thing that we're going to talk about is the way how myself right now, I personally drive for the two big rideshare companies. Mm-hmm. And we have stories about that. That's our main topic that we're going to talk about. But first of all, you're listening to the Cali Current Podcast. My name is Ish, your host, Grimace. And thank you very much for being here. Like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification button. And also, please comment if you have any suggestions for future topics. In general, if you have any comments whatsoever, we're more than glad to answer them. And we appreciate you being here, listening to the podcast, and watching us in person. So what is your first nightmare story? Because I have a few. Because I drive my own vehicle, and I do rideshare for the fact that just make extra money. It wasn't my main personal 40-hour a week 9 to 5. But is there something that you have that you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, before we get to that, there was now I just want to say on the last thing about the department stores. Now it makes sense, because when I would go to Ross, it'd be like retail's at, and I'll be like, why? What do you mean retail's at? Like $20 or $22, but that's why, because it comes from the Macy's, Bloomingdale's, and then and then
all the products that don't sell at brick and mortar stores, they get basically a bulk purchase from the buyers that work for like Ross and Marshalls and all the lower end, not lower end, but lower brand department chains that sell at way marked down prices because they're on clearance, final clearance, and they don't sell. They get them, and then they still, slash the prices to the consumer even lower, and that's how they make their money. Because in reality, they're
that's what I was like. Oh wow, full circle. With the merchandise
and the fashion trends is like a quarterly thing. Every 3 months, the new quarter's coming out for the fashion, because that's just how it works. Yeah. Every 4 times a year, we have 4 quarters in every year. That's how fast they get the merchandise out, because the next thing's coming. Summer's coming. Right now, they're selling a lot of winter stuff because, it's at full price, but they mark it down for sales for Black Friday and in general. Yeah. And then if it doesn't get sold, eventually it's going to get out of the stores. And that's why you see a lot of jackets at Ross or Marshall's, like big, thick coats for very low prices, maybe half of the amount that they were selling originally at the big brand stores.
Oh, and then one other thing I want to touch on before we get onto the Uber stories. I saw one of the viewers, Sarah Garcia, was putting about one of my stories. Like, we didn't hear from Grimace's story.
You told one story.
Yeah, I told. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I was just but before I was more broad about it, just saying that they were misrepresenting who they were appearing to be. So basically, that long story short, that's kind of what happened to me on one of those. I think it's like one of those dates from the social media apps.
Okay.
I met up with this chick. Well, I believe it looked like a chick to me and everything. And
I think you mentioned that once.
Yeah, and then I went to go, we were chilling, and then I went to go grab her hand. I believe it was her, and then the hands were more rougher than mine. I was like,
oh, construction worker, huh?
I know, is it construction work? I mean, I know maybe she's just like, there's females out there with tough jobs. I don't know.
A hand model doesn't have rough hands. Trust me. A model that works with her hands, and you see all these beautiful hands, with these products.
And they feel rougher than mine, and I'm a mother trucking mechanic, man. I'm using my hands. Like, wait a minute, oh crap! But I mean, she looked like a woman to me. But
did you look for the Adam's apple? Because this is the first thing that you have to notice.
Oh, it has to be. Is it like a little bump right there?
Okay, if you guys are ever in that situation where you think that person is probably not who they're representing. First of all, ask them to lift their heads, their neck, and see what. I mean, don't touch. You can never touch somebody. Be respectful, of course. Make sure you can see the little bulge.
Let me see. All right, let me see. Look up to the sky.
You can't really see yours, but mine. I think mine is more visible, right?
I mean, kind of. I mean, one thing I think that wasn't really a subject to go on through, but an idea that I just thought of. On a first date, always would be like to go to the pool, the beach, anything that has to do with the water. That way it's like, there's no hiding. Because the makeup, I was saying that chick or that thing looked like a chick. That was a female. The person. But nowadays with the makeup, people be getting so good with the makeup that, like, I've seen videos where, like, they'll have, like, it was like this Oriental lady. And she was really old, and they shows like putting on that makeup. Next thing you know, she looks like a young lady.
Oh yeah, I've seen those videos. Yeah, I've seen those videos. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
that's when I saw the power.
People are really good makeup artists in the world. You're right. People are really very good makeup artists. But yeah, don't be fooled ever, okay?
But I saw the comment by Sarah Garcia. I was like, oh, you know what? I got to respond.
Yeah, good.
For checking us out.
And thank you very much for that comment. We appreciate any comments, any suggestions. Yeah. Thank you very much. So going into the
Uber one,
the rideshare nightmares. So like I said, I drive, but I'm gonna talk about the first story. The thing is, I don't drive often. I never used to, actually. I used to drive more outside of the state, in a different state, but now that I am here, working here and being here all the time, I work here in California. And the point is, the worst story that I've ever had in this state is that I picked up somebody, I took them to their destination. Once they got out, they noticed that something was missing. But I'm like, okay, because I always check sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes I make sure, please don't forget any of your items, and thank you very much. It was nice to meet you, and I appreciate you, being here for the ride. Thank you. I always give praise because that's just what I do. I'm trying to be as polite as I can.
Oh, nice.
And this guy noticed that he left a baggie back there, a baggie with white substance. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch it.
Damn.
But he got out. He took at least 100 yards away. He noticed that he was missing his bag. He came back, and I'm like, okay. He's like, hey, I forgot my bag. I'm like, oh, it's right there. I didn't even touch it. I just looked back there. I'm like, okay, well, don't forget your bag in my head. But I didn't say anything because I'm like, I didn't want to say the wrong thing because, you never know, people that come into your vehicle, especially as a rideshare driver. That was basically the worst one in this state. But
so he's had like a bag of creatine on him, or you think
I
it's some
don't
sort
know.
of narcotic?
Well, trust me, it was not baby powder, and it was not harina in Spanish. Of course, in English, it's flour. So I'm pretty sure it was something stronger than that. Way stronger, okay?
Oh, okay. We'll just, we could only hope maybe it was protein or creatine. We never know.
The way he walked away with the baggie, he thought it was more precious than gold.
It was precious than gold. Oh, crap.
Okay, so that's my nightmare story when I was driving and dropped somebody off first. But what's your nightmare story that you have about ride sharing?
I think the probably the worst one. I mean, it's not too crazy. Nothing too bad. Not no crazy experiences with ride sharing. Well, at least that I could recall. But there was one where I was out with my girlfriend, and we went to go get the Uber ride share, and we had some drinks, so we weren't like gone or out of our mind or didn't even really feel buzzed. Maybe a little bit buzzed, but there was a lot of. We were at OG Mike's. OG Mike's
does not exist anymore in Santa Ana.
They don't have it no more, but they play some good funk music there. I think before they probably had a lot of fights because a lot of people would go, and I remember a lot of fights. But anyways, it was finished, so we leave, and then we order the Uber ride. But there's a lot of people ordering their Uber rides and stuff. So we just, for whatever reason, without checking or like checking the license plate or anything like that, we just got in the Uber. It starts taking off, and it's taking us in the right direction to top it off too. And then I kind of see on the Uber ride map, I was like, wait, it's not making sense. It's saying that we're still, that the ride is still over there waiting for us. And we've probably already traveled like 2 miles, maybe 2.5 miles. So by then we tell the Uber rider, hey, are you so-and-so? Because then we look at the app, and he's like, no, you're not so-and-so. So then it was a little mix-up right there. We're like, oh. So from that, after that experience, now I know, okay, always, now they give you the details of the car. They also give you the license plate.
Yes.
But before that event, I wouldn't really look at the information because, usually just see the Uber coming. Oh, there it is. Okay. But since everybody was waiting for their Ubers too or Lyfts, then we just kind of got in.
Especially after a few drinks, man, things can look a little blurry, maybe. But I always ask because I do drive, for the big rideshare companies. That hey, are you so and so? Right before they get in or when they pull up or whatever, and I always make sure that they're the right person because I always check the name no matter what.
Yeah, most of the time they ask me too. Like now that I pay attention to that kind of stuff, now they do ask, hey, are you Grimace? I was like, yeah. Or sometimes now I ask them, hey, are you Dwayne? And they were like, yeah. So
okay, well, it can happen. I think it's probably happened to more than the best of us that could probably remember. But things happen.
But then check this out. So then we tell the guy it's the wrong one. He's like, oh no, I forgot what, but how it ended up. But he ended up just dropping us off right there, like 2 miles away, and I was like,
he dumped you?
He basically dumped us.
Oh, wow. That's bad. I've never done that. I would never do that to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, we accepted it. We're like, oh, it's fine. You can just leave us here. And then, we figured it out. And then I think we just ended up calling the Uber again or someone. I think we ended up calling Ruben to come help us.
Oh, wow. Well,
Uncle Ruben.
that's bad.
Shout out, Ruben. Good looking out and coming up.
That's bad. I mean, I would never do that to anybody. That's just me. But, everybody's different. Every driver thinks they're... the way they want to operate, that's just on them. I don't try to be bad faith person to do that to somebody. And I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, no, it was no biggie. But I mean, at the same time, I did have my girl with me, so then it was kind of a little bit embarrassing. Like, come on, like
it happens to the best of us. Don't feel bad about it, but it can happen and it might happen. But my other story too is that when I drove out of the state, I drove in the state of Arizona because I used to work over there last year, and I drove sometimes when I had days off or when I had time off in between work shifts. I didn't have a set schedule, but no matter what, I was always available whenever I was available. It didn't matter what time it was. So the basically one of the first times that I ever drove, I picked up this female. It was just funny when I was pulling up because I picked her up at a bar, and then it was sad to see that there was this guy walking away with the head down, where the defeat in his face. You could totally see that he was just rejected by that same writer that I was picking up. And I'm like, oh man, I felt bad for him. I do feel empathy mostly for people when I see things like that.
All right.
But he was walking away, and as soon as they pulled up, it was her. She was already waiting for me outside. So I dropped her off wherever she went home. She said she had her babies asleep. I don't know if she had a babysitter or not. I don't know. The point is, she said she had her kids inside sleeping. But I don't have to basically know what a person is thinking. I just get a weird vibe sometimes, I guess, if that's how you want to put it. But something was telling me that she was being a little flirty with me. She wasn't trying to touch me because I would never allow that.
Oh, crap.
So it's like, okay, I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. She wasn't telling me anything like suggestive or anything. But in a way, she sort of wanted to tell me or maybe proposition me. But I'm like, no, I can't do that. I have cameras everywhere in my car, inside, outside. And I'm like, no, I'm not, no. I'm never going there, But it just felt odd, in my opinion. I had a weird vibe. I'm like, I'm not, no. I will never do that because, one, I don't want to get in trouble. And two, I don't want to get fired. But, it felt weird because I'm like, she just got out super drunk, and I knew she was drunk because she was slurring her words.
Oh, crap.
And it's not like I felt unsafe, but I guess it's not a nightmare. It's just I would never want to be put in that position because I take that seriously.
Yeah, you don't want to me, it's not a conflict of interest, but it seems like one of those things like where a manager and you can't have a relationship with a staff kind of thing.
It's
I mean,
clearly
you're not their
established.
manager, you're their driver. So I don't think it's nothing wrong with it if you guys had like a genuine connection.
No.
But yeah, no, if you see she's inebriated a little bit, then
I wasn't having any of it, but I was being polite, and I wasn't going to be rude to her because I don't do that to riders at all. I just make sure that they get there safely, and if whatever the case may be, and if they need extra help, I'll offer, not because I want to have a motive behind it. It's because I am genuinely nice. I try to be, at least. So yeah, that was my one horror story that I have, or nightmare, over there. But that was probably the worst that happened to me over there. Here, I already told you what happened here in this state. But do you have another story that you want to tell us?
Yeah, well, my worst one was probably that one, getting in the wrong Uber, and then him kind of just like ditching us. And we're good sports about it. Like he seemed like he had the urge to go get his original rider and not get in trouble with the company or that rideshare app. So I was like, okay, you do your job, and we were feeling good even though it was nighttime, but I could protect us right there. So but yeah, another interesting story, I guess, when I was doing rideshare. Well, not interesting. I mean, it was kind of upsetting. I lost my phone. See, there was two different times. One time, I had left my phone in the ride share, and I didn't realize it till like maybe a couple hours later.
Okay.
And then I was able to initiate to contact the driver, and then he said he responded saying, "Yeah, I do have your phone, but there was like like it was gonna charge me $15 so they could return me my lost item." But I mean, I was really glad to get my phone back for $15. I didn't mind that one bit. And I also give him a tip on top of that, because I was really appreciative after losing my phone and to get it back. But then there was another event where also I had lost my phone. And on that one, I didn't realize that the phone was lost till the next day. So back when I was just retracing my steps on that one, I saw that the phone kind of ran out of battery right when it dropped me off at my location, which was at my friend's house. So once I got to the location, and I was kind of looking around on the floor on the grass, but yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the phone. So then, yeah, unfortunately, on that one, I had to call it a loss, and just call the insurance company. Luckily, I had insurance on it, so I was able to get the phone replaced. But yeah, those were, I would say, the two biggest horror stories as far as rideshare apps. But yeah, I was checking out some of this information, and then they were saying that rideshare, they're actually seeing an increase in 15% this year compared to last year. So that means that people are getting more comfortable with it. Everyone's starting to use it more. It's more of a commonplace thing. But another thing also that's also interesting over here, busting out the statistics on all you guys, was that also the prices have increased too. The average price of a Uber Lyft now is actually 20% more than it was 2 years ago. So it's like the demand is going up. Then supply and demand, they're also gonna start bumping up the cost. So what about? Have you, as a driver, like seen any increase in compensation? Because there's more demand now, according to the statistics. There's 15% more compared to last year, and compared to 2 years ago, it now costs 20% more.
Yeah, well, it costs everybody else 20% more, but the companies are getting more money. We're not getting more money as drivers. That's my opinion about it. But I mean, I see that I've made a comparison with both. And sometimes there's a difference in the fare, but the point is that if they are raising their prices, the riders are not seeing that in their ride totals. It's just a fact of life. That's just how it is. I can't complain. I just do my job, and if I get whatever I get, then I can't. What am I going to do? Gripe about it? There's nothing I could do about it. Yeah. We're supposed to get a certain percentage technically, but it's more like 50-50 at this point, and people don't understand that. So that's why if you get a ride from any of these big rideshare companies, most of that money is not really going towards us, if you guys want to understand that. Not because I'm not saying it because I know a fact. I don't know facts at all. I don't try to do that. It's my opinion that's what we're getting. That's just how I see it.
So always make sure to tip your drivers, not just with good, wise comments, but also with actual fiat currency, money.
Yeah. I mean, I don't work for the tips either. If somebody wants to give me a tip, I'm not going to pressure them. I don't do that. If they feel like I did a great job, that's on them. Yeah, I've gotten a few tips here and there, but I never expect them, and I never tell anybody to tip me because I don't do that. It's whatever they feel like. It's when I go to a restaurant, we tip if we want to, and we tip whatever we feel is how they perform their service, right?
Yeah,
same thing with Uber and Lyft drivers or rideshare, any rideshare company that you're using. It doesn't matter, if you're using something for quick or for long travel, but just if the persons are genuine and if you like the way they serviced you in terms of taking you where you wanted to go from point A to point B, that's on you. We appreciate the tips. Thank you very much if you do so, but it's just part of the job, in my opinion.
What about when people ask you? Because when I get into an Uber, there's been times where I get in there and they got like some Kendrick Lamar songs playing, and I'm just like, damn, I just hopped into a Tesla. They got some Kendrick Lamar, rap songs going on. And then that automatically, I'm like, well, that's just me personally. Then, I tip. I'm like, oh, for sure, I'm going to tip this guy or girl that's playing some good music. So how do you feel as a driver? Like, because sometimes, I go into the Uber drives, and sometimes I feel like I even tell them like, hey, can you put on Power 106 or 92.3 like on a hip hop station? How, do you feel offended? Like, hey, this is my car, or do you try to cater to them?
No. I don't do that. I tell people the first thing that I do, greet them. Hello, how are you doing? My name is Ishmael, and whatever the day is, how are you doing today? Nice to meet you. And then I'd say, can you please wear your seatbelt, or whatever the nicest way is, because I try to be cordial all the time. But if they want the radio, I'll put the radio whenever they want, or wherever they want. I don't care. Sometimes I'll say, do you want the radio or do you want the AC? Depending. Do you want the heater right now that it's a little chilly because we're almost in wintertime? I try to be as accommodating as possible. I mean, I don't understand that rideshare people that drive
Yeah.
that don't offer that. I mean, I hear people sometimes say, well, certain drivers don't want this, don't want that. I'm like, that's too bad for them because, it doesn't cost you anything to be nice, to be cordial, to be also apologetic if you feel like they're in your vehicle and it's not up to their standards,
So basically, he's got to play it out, right? Because I mean, you might have a rider that's on a business meeting phone call. That's you might have another one that's just like a chatty person.
I don't mind.
You
I don't
might
mind
have another
chatting
person
up
like
my
me
riders.
that wants to hear like some music, tunes, bumping it.
I don't mind whatever they want, whatever makes them happy. As long as they're satisfied, I did my job to the best of my abilities. That's the way I see it.
What about as a rider? Have you ever any stories
Yes,
worth
actually.
mentioning?
Well, I mean, everybody has a story, right? As a rider, I mean, I try not to use them a lot, the ride shares, but I think the worst story that I've had as a rider is that one time I was up in Northern Cal. I was actually at Levi Stadium watching a Mexico versus Chile soccer game.
Oh,
And,
damn.
and Mexico got creamed 7-0 that night.
7-0?
Yeah, I had a few beers and I was
Come
like,
on, Mexico. What's going on?
yeah, I know. That was a Mexican national team
Wow.
versus the Chile national team in Levi Stadium here in Central California. Sorry. I forgot. Santa Clara, right?
A random fact. Chile's number one export is copper.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did a big old
I probably knew that,
research
but I
paper
don't
on them.
remember anymore.
But yeah, so remember.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They got copper mines. I don't just threw it out there.
Yeah, no. You know what? You're probably right because I've seen a movie where they specifically talk about that and they're in Chile. I
The
think.
mines, yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, anyway, sorry to cut you off. You were saying.
No. So, I mean, me and my wife at that, juncture, we were at the game. We got taken there by a Lyft driver.
Mhm.
And then on the way out, it was just a nightmare because
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's been to Levi Stadium here in Santa Clara, California, but there's just a propensity to just waste a lot of time. Actually, we walked to the stadium because we were really close. We were literally close from where we were staying at our hotel. And on the way back, we did get an Uber. And I don't know what happened with this driver. He just kept saying, I don't find you. Where are you at? I guess that was at the time when they didn't have all those details they do now,
Yeah, at the beginning, I don't think they had as many details. Like now you could even look at the phone. It kind of shows like the little picture
Correct.
of the car going
Yeah.
through the streets.
No, but back then we literally had to like walk a little bit because he wanted us like a quarter mile away far. And I'm like, no, it was far. I mean, we were dead tired just from, just watching the Mexico getting creamed. Then it's like, okay, well, where are you at? So we had to walk a little bit and that was sort of a little, not humiliating, but it's just, we're tired. We don't want to go jump through hoops. You're supposed to look for us. We're not supposed to look for you. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
So that was the worst thing that ever happened to me, I think, being a rider.
Yeah. I have another story worth mentioning. I mean, once I went to my friend's wedding. He was getting married. And I guess I probably had a phone that was not, it was I probably had that same phone for a good 2-3 years. So the battery was already pretty used. And once the battery was already used up, then, at the end of the wedding, I tried to use my phone to use the rideshare app. And by then the phone was dead. So there was no way for me to order the rideshare app. So long story short, and it kind of sucked because also since the wedding was like in Irvine, but it was like out in the outskirts of Irvine, then there was no Ubers to even order. I mean, even if I did try to get an Uber and had my battery going. So long story short, I wasn't able to get the Uber ride there, and luckily my friend's brother was there and he was able to take me home. But yeah, if you're ever messing with the rideshare apps, well, that's like anything. If I were to call a taxi cab and, I didn't have a phone to call a taxi cab on, then, then I'd also be stranded there at that point. But, I mean, just other things you want to do and remember, obviously, you always want to be safe on these rideshare apps because you never know, like, who's picking you up. And you know, you always have nowadays people with nefarious intentions. So just make sure. I know a lot of people use the rideshare apps whenever you're gonna go out on a night of drinking and get inebriated. Um, so yeah, if that is your intention, always just make sure to kind of stay safe and maybe have a partner or a bar hopping buddy if you're doing that.
Be on the phone with somebody. I would recommend that, and or share your ride with somebody, because my wife does that, or she's done that before, where she's shared the trip with me. You can share trips. I don't know if you guys know that there's a lot of safety measures. You can share a trip with somebody that you love, somebody that you trust, somebody that's going to be there for you if anything goes down with these drivers from the rideshare apps. So just be careful with that, and you guys always can be on the phone with each other or something, because that's happened to me where I've been driving and this one person was on the phone just for safety, and I get it. I don't get offended. I don't take any matter into it, but I get where they're coming from, because not everybody can be trusted. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that those things have just arisen as of late, because you always hear the horror stories.
Of course, yeah.
But usually, I mean, they're like random, like maybe
Correct.
1 out of a million, I would say,
Correct.
or 1 out of 100,000. Because yeah, most of the times I never had no issues like that. I mean, aside from getting in the wrong Uber or losing an item, which is things that could be easily avoided, just taking more time and more diligence.
Yeah, correct. So if you guys are aware, also be nice to your drivers. You don't know what kind of day they're having. I use a lot of driving because I love to be on the road. I love driving because it takes a lot of stress away from me. I think it's therapeutic for me to be a driver. And in general, I used to transport a lot. But in general, I've always been driving for some kind of company where I did transport, where I did delivery of documents or anything like that. I used to be a courier when I was younger. But always be nice to them. If you're having a bad day, just, people pick up on that as well. If your driver is a good driver, they're going to know when to stay quiet and leave you alone. And that's just how it is. But sometimes you get the obnoxious ones, and not all of them. I'm just saying in general, that some people are just on the phone being loud, and it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's also a little rude that you go into somebody's vehicle and all you're doing is talking on the phone loudly, and not everybody wants to hear that conversation. So just be mindful, please.
Oh, so it's still, even though it's like a business to business thing, but still, it's still human with another
Correct.
human in a car, right? Yeah.
Correct, because your vehicle is your private domain. People don't understand that. Yes, you're right. They're getting a service, but you also have to be courteous because they're performing a service for you. But you also have to be courteous because that's just how, I guess, the golden rule is. Treat others how you want to be treated, and don't be disrespectful too.
Yeah, because there's been a time where I got picked up and used the Uber ride, and I was on the phone the whole time, and it was kind of trippy too, because this Uber was like decked out. He had like monitors on his thing, like 2 monitors. He had like Super Nintendo going on. He had like all these lights. I even thought it was like a game show kind of thing.
That's a cool drive right there. That's a cool.
Yeah, it was a cool one. And then to top it off, I was on the phone. So the whole time I was on the phone, I was even saying like, oh man, you got these cool games right here. I was trying to play them, but I was on a phone call. And but yeah, the whole way there. But at the end, I told the guy like, "Hey man, thanks a lot." But at the end of the day, like you were saying, I'm still in someone's car.
Correct.
And but I was just treating it like, "Hey, I hired this guy to drive me from here to there."
Correct.
But we're still human. Still a human picking up another human. I can still be like, "Oh, okay, you know what? Let me call you back."
Yeah.
And then just
out of
say,
respect.
"Hey, how's it going? Hope your day is going well,
Yeah.
whatnot." Just keeping it
Well,
normal.
some drivers, people are introverted or extroverted, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But some riders, or excuse me, let me say it again. Some drivers, they'll just, there because they want to make their money and they want to leave as fast as possible. They won't say anything because I don't know what it is. Maybe like I said, somebody might have had a bad day. But also be aware that once you go into somebody's vehicle, they have the right to record you. If they have cameras like galore, they want to record for their safety too. It's not about rider safety only. It's also about driver safety too. So be aware that if you're being inside a Lyft or an Uber or any type of ride, the driver has the authority and also the permission. The permission just in general because it's a private domain, like I said, and you can be recorded and it's not against the law.
And then what about as far as like saving money? It says one of the best ways you can save money is to book during non-peak hours.
Yeah, well, the non-peak hours are just typical, no rush hours, no late nights, especially right now between 10 and 2, 3 in the morning because people are going out right now. They're heading out to the streets to go out and have their fun on
Also
a Saturday night.
So from like 10 p.m. all the way till 3 p.m. That's considered peak hours right there because people are going out.
10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Yes, correct.
Oh man. So when would you say like if you're trying to get
And
somewhere
between 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. weekly because I'm between 3 in the morning until 8 in the morning, give or take, when people are in their offices working.
Oh, so that's the best time if you're gonna use if like
Those are the peak hours.
Oh, those are the peak hours. So when would be like a good hour to like, hey, I want to get to this destination. Doesn't have necessarily have to be at a specific time. What would be a good like off peak?
Mostly between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., give or take.
Oh, okay. So
And
like,
at
okay.
night, after between 8 p.m. and midnight is off peak, basically.
Oh, so 8 p.m. to midnight
During the week.
Oh,
But on the weekends, it's fair game because it could fluctuate depending on where you're at. Of course, it depends on the area because some areas are busier than others. Like in downtown LA area, I'm sure it's always happening and there's always things going on.
Also, like on the weekends, since most people are all off, that's kind of like a whole peak hour, right? Like
correct
the whole day. Oh, okay.
Correct. It was I try to drive at any time, at all times, just to gauge the market. But it changes. It just fluctuates. It also matters on demand. It also matters on necessity. It also matters on if there's drivers in the area. I mean, some drivers don't live in the area, or some drivers have to drive far. It just depends. There's a lot of factors that go into it, to be honest with you. But no matter what, just be respectful. I get it. You want to be safe. Everybody wants to be traveling from point A to point B safely without any issues, without any hitches or anything like that. But it's just give and take. That's just how it is.
Yeah, especially with the Thanksgiving coming up. That's where you're gonna want to use that if you drink or consume alcohol.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, the holidays are coming up, and we do want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I know that you guys are all going to probably either see your families. Some of you are going to travel. If that's the case, safe travels. We do appreciate you being here with us. This is the Cali Current Podcast with your host, Ish, and your host, Grimace. And if you have any comments, please like, share, subscribe. And
also, what was the, do you have any, before we go off into the Thanksgiving break and all that, what are some like holiday or Thanksgiving movies you like to see? Anything like that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were going to discuss that.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot about that. Well, I think because everybody has a holiday movie, especially at Thanksgiving time, and then after that, the holidays coming in, they have a favorite go-to movie. I think mine for sure, because everybody watches, football on Thanksgiving evening, right? Because the games are there. What else are you going to do?
Yeah,
everybody's just sitting around. And I like to watch, wow, it's hard. I guess my new holiday movie go-to is Office Christmas Party.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. How is that one?
It's great. It's awesome. You should watch it. If you haven't watched it, no spoiler alert or anything. I'm not going to give anything away. It's a really good movie. Comedy. One of the last few great Christmas comedies ever.
What about is the plot original? Because nowadays movies be copying the like plots of different movies. They just probably change characters or sceneries. But I like those movies when they have like an original plot.
Yes.
Like Smile 2, that was like an original plot. I like that.
Yeah, this one is an original plot.
Kind of original plot.
An original,
nice.
Yeah, an original screen play, an original idea. It's just well thought out, and it's funny because there's a lot of good actors in it. I mean, to name a few: Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, curly-haired guy. He plays with Santa Claus because he's the boss. He's the owner of the company and that. I forgot his name. He's a comedian. I forgot his name. And there's a couple other people. There's a SNL lady too. I forgot her name. A blonde lady from SNL. I forgot her name. I can't remember their names at this point. There's a lot of good actors, and there's also a couple of comedians in there that give good comedic value to the movie. I just can't remember their names. They escape me at this point. But it's a good movie. You should check it out. Everybody should check it out.
Oh, nice.
What about you? What's your movie?
I mean, for Thanksgiving, like you were saying, it's because I was trying to think while you were telling me your Office Party movie. I think it's just because since I'm always watching football the whole day on Thanksgiving, or if I don't get to watch football, I'm usually traveling from one Thanksgiving family to another Thanksgiving family's event. But yeah, normally football. If not, then I'll go play. Well, when I was a little bit younger, we would go to the park and play our little turkey bowl games.
Oh yeah. I never played football, so I don't have that tradition. We all have our traditions. What we do on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So also we would go. We'd go link up. Some of the alumni would go play there. So it's like different graduating years. We'll go play football at the park. I kind of refrain from doing that though, because some years, I'd get injured hands or injured fingers, and then I would show up to Thanksgiving dinner with like in pain,
You show up with a bunch of bandages, right?
Bandages and scrapes and in pain.
And then everybody's wondering, what happened to you? Where were you this morning? What happened? Did you go into a brawl or something? Did you
get in a fight? I was like, why do you have a splint? And so I was like, all right, just, I'm probably not going to be playing football so I can enjoy my Thanksgiving dinner.
Were you doing bare knuckle brawling? Why did you show up with mystery injuries all of a sudden?
Seriously, that's why. But I mean, I'll still go to the park sometimes and check out whoever's playing and or just throw the football, try to get a little bit of activity in that. Oh, but another tradition my family and I have started is walking the dogs. So we'll go eat. We'll have our Thanksgiving dinner or lunch. We try to have it like at a lunchtime. That way, allows the body to digest properly. Because before we would always have like Thanksgiving dinners pretty late, like 9:00, and then that doesn't really give our bodies too much time to process it. So yeah, then we started moving up the dinner more of a lunchtime. And then
that's a great time.
Yeah, and then that also gives us time to go take a walk. The whole family we go take a walk and walk the dogs, so that way it gives us time to digest the food and
sounds good.
And even makes more space for dessert. If there's desserts on the table on the menu. So
my parents don't have any type of tradition. I mean, a great day for Thanksgiving dinner and or whatever time you have it is just, in my family, is just all of us being there, together. That's all I care about.
Yeah, and that's the main thing that's the best thing about the holidays is being everybody together. But that's also probably the worst things is because then that's when you remember that the ones that passed away or the ones that are no longer there.
Yeah.
Then that's sad, also. So it's the good and the bad, also the family.
Correct.
thing.
Yeah. Memories can come rushing back on holiday seasons. For a lot of purposes, a lot of different family members, whatever the case may be. But yeah, whatever your traditions are, I know you hold them near and dear and true to your heart. And we do want to let you know that if that's the case, we hope you enjoy your time this Thanksgiving holiday season coming up, doing whatever you end up doing. If you end up shopping, if you end up watching TV, or if you end up just eating your face off, because everybody's probably going to be doing that, especially me on Thanksgiving evening.
Yeah, same here. It's the one day with desserts. If there's cookies, I like to get a little extra, and then I like to think, well, I'll just walk it off, and in our little post food walk. But yeah, if you guys have any other traditions that you'd like to start or you want to share with us, just put in the comments. Let us know what kind of traditions you guys already do, or what kind of traditions are you guys interested in starting anew. I mean, it's never too late to start a new tradition with your family and something that'll benefit, everybody getting closer together, building a relationship. Because, family is, well, in my opinion, that's most. Family is
the ultimate. And try not to be on your phones on Thanksgiving dinner table. I mean, yes, it's easier for me to say it, but if we're probably not going to all listen to that, which is fine, but I'm not being, very hypothetical about it. I'm just trying to give a good karma out there. It's a good thing that we are paying attention to our family when they're in front of us, because the day that they're no longer here, you're going to probably regret being on your phone. That's just my opinion about it.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty true.
Because we did talk about that on the first episode. Remember about how we consume ourselves in our technology?
Oh, yeah. How it could help us build stronger relationships with our family members.
By being off our phone.
Yeah, but it could also hinder them. It could also hinder them by being on the phone at the dinner table.
Correct. But that's my point. We try to avoid that as well if possible. It's hard. It's difficult, but it could be done if you really want it to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, thank you very much again. We do appreciate it again, Ish here and Grimace on the Cali Current podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification button. We're gonna see you on the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Eat a lot of turkey, a lot of sweets, and yeah, peace out, everybody.
Have a good night, blessings, and we love you all. Thank you very much for being here. Have a good night.